Hi everyone and welcome to Action Bullet Points. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things. First things first, Action Pistol Nationals are less than a month away. The entry form's already up on Hungary Pistol Club website. Go and register. And the second thing we're going to talk about is most people would go and register, and most of the pistol shooters would have what they think is a production division compliant handgun, because they obviously shoot IPSC, and the first division people would normally start would be a production division, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, I'll just use that gun. Think again. So we're going to dive deep into what NRA Action production gun actually is. So for the definitions, we're going to use the 2020 NRA Action pistol rulebook. That's the one that you see in front of you right now. And just to cover the production division, the intent was to stop Action being an equipment match, because let's face it, once you're into the open division, the best equipment doesn't necessarily win you the match, but make your chances of winning the match so much higher. So when it comes to production gun, it is just a gun, no bells, no whistles. So the idea is that unlike IPSC, that gun needs to fit into the box of a certain size. So they don't have a list of production guns. So just to give you an idea, and not to make it super long, not to make it super boring, Glock 17, a perfectly legal, by the way, all the guns I'll be showing you have been checked, and they all safe. Still, I'll try not to point them where they're not supposed to be pointing. Anyway, Glock 17, perfectly legal production division IPSC gun, and it is perfectly legal Action production division gun. What's the difference? For NRA Action, the trigger pull has to be 3.5 pounds for each shot fired. So for IPSC, it is 3 pounds for striker fire guns. If your gun's been fine-tuned for IPSC for 3 pound trigger pull, then it is not a production Action gun. So that's one thing. Another example, Glock 34. It is not a production gun by IPSC standards, because it is not on the list of production guns. By IPSC standards, this is a standard minor gun. By the NRA standards, it fits into the box. The trigger pull is more than 3.5 pounds, and therefore it is a production gun. Springfield XDM, same story. By IPSC standards, it is a standard gun, standard minor. By NRA Action, fits into the box, trigger pull 3.5 pounds or more, it is a production gun. This gun has a ported slide. By Action standards, this is perfectly fine, because there is a provision in the rulebook. If this is a feature by the manufacturer design, you're fine. Adjustable rear sights. If the manufacturer designed and manufactured the gun with adjustable rear sights, you're good. But the front post can't be adjustable, no matter what. If the manufacturer designed the gun that otherwise fits the definition of a production gun with adjustable front sight, this is not a production gun. Luckily, this one is. And last but not least, production optics. So each and every gun that I've just shown you, this 17 can be a production optics, as long as otherwise it is a production gun and you put optics on the slide, not on the shroud, as we've seen in the case of the open gun. That's pretty much it. So let's cover the magazines and the holster. So, magazines. For Action, funny enough, there are restrictions placed on the magazines. So all the magazines, so when you measure the gun inside the box, the gun has to fit inside the box with the magazine. So for Glock, that's pretty much easy. That's stock standard Glock 17 mag. Another reason why you probably want to use the Glock 17 mag is that once you shoot prone off the ground, the gun sits flat on the ground and you have really good support, like so. If you are using the extended mags, tough luck. It may not fit in the box. I've never tried. I only have those mags because sometimes I shoot this gun for IPSC in standard minor, so I want to take full advantage of the 19 rounds in the mag. But for action, life is better when you have the mag that sits flush and the gun is very, very stable when sitting on the ground, like so. XDM, same thing. You can get extended mags. I didn't even bother because the standard mag takes 19 rounds. And again, sits flush, so the gun is very, very stable when you're shooting prone. What they require, though, is all the mags to be identical to the one that you've taken the measurements when you were fitting the gun in the box. So this is my production action rig. So all 4 mags are identical. And they're stock standard Glock 17 round mags. Now, action, unlike IPSC, action actually mandates certain type of holster for production. And it has to be a bucket holster, and it has to cover the slide ½ inch below the ejection port on semi-auto and a minimum halfway down the cylinder on the revolvers. I don't have the bucket holster for the revolver. I'm not going to show it to you. But, for example, this one, let's have a look. So the gun's fully inserted in the holster, and it does cover that. So ½ an inch below the injection port. So that's pretty much everything what you need to know about the production holster. Very important. The vast majority of the people who shoot production in IPSC, they would use CZ. I don't have a CZ simply because I don't shoot production in IPSC, and I just don't like them for a number of reasons. Not going to cover that here, but in production division, in action, the first shot, if it's a double action pistol, what CZ is, always has to be fired in double action mode. For revolver, each shot fired has to be a double action shot. So, the trigger pull condition, and this is important, it's not on the double action. The trigger pull condition is on the single action. So if you think that your CZ is, say, 5 pounds for the first shot fired, and you're good, and that the follow-up shots are less than 2 pounds, some people fine-tune their guns like so, you're actually not going to shoot, you're not going to be able to shoot NRA action competition, because even in metallic division, every shot fired has to have a trigger pull of more than 2 pounds. And that is for metallic and for open. So the lighter trigger pull is just simply not allowed. So think about it, measure your trigger pull in single action as well. It has to be more than 3.5 pounds. Then again, tough luck for CZ shooters. If you're shooting in the production, as I said before, you need to shoot your first shot always in double action mode. But say if your trigger pull is below 3.5, you can still use it in metallic. Then I forget what I said about the holster. You can use race holster. Actually helps things a bit. And then you just shoot, you just holster with your safety on, and you have consistent trigger pull for every shot in every string. But you're not competing in production. You're competing in metallic, and you're competing with the guns that we've showed you in metallic that have base pads, longer slides, and therefore longer barrels. So you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. So again, long story short, if you're serious about action, get yourself a proper NRA action gun for whichever division you shoot. So decision's yours. And I'm an action shooter, so most of my guns are action guns. So that's kind of that simple. With that, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, ask questions. We'll try to get them answered. If you are in New Zealand, hopefully I'll see you in Whangarei in a couple of weeks' time. See you out there.